Welcome to IKF Career 360. Today we are talking about an opportunity that exists for Indian footballers, but very few families know about it. So we have Jordan Carver from GESP Education, the organization that places young football players into US boarding schools with scholarships. You don't want to miss this one. Let's go. So welcome, Jordan, to this podcast. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. And we met at Mumbai IKF Season 5 finale. That was really great meeting with you, understanding what you do. However, we have a different audience who doesn't know what is GESP, and we are so excited to learn about your initiative at GESP. But we'll know more about GSP. But before that, I want to understand about you, like how you got introduced into soccer or football, as we say in this part of the world, and give a brief introduction about yourself, or maybe how did you fell in love with football?
Yeah, and first of all, thanks so much for having me on the podcast. I'm very excited to speak with you, and hopefully the Indian audience will get a bit more understanding about global education and sports partners. But yeah, so how I got involved with soccer or football, the one thing I agree that the name needs to change, but it's okay. I grew up in a big family. I'm the youngest of a big family, and we played all sports. My dad was a big baseball fan, and but we played every sport. But soccer sort of just fit into our family the best. And back when I grew up, the EPL came on TV once a week, and we record it on VHS, and we watch that and rewatch that uh, all the time. But I think the crowning moment for me was when I was 14. I went to Italy on a soccer tour trip. We played against some affiliates of Inter Milan and Juventus, and I mean that really just changed my whole perspective on on the global side of soccer, and it just made me really passionate about the sport, and it just made me want to play it more and more, and it just really, yeah,
Mm.
sparked or I guess there was already a spark, but it just made it so that I understood that the sport was way bigger than
Right.
where I was at in it, and so. Ever since then, soccer was really my passion, and yeah, just let it take me to different parts of the world, and so that's why I'm with GSP is because soccer really just shaped my
Right.
life.
Right. So before joining maybe GSP, we'll come to GSP. Before you joined GSP, uh, how were you involved in soccer in this game as a professional or maybe, as someone who follows this game?
Yeah, so as a soccer player, I played in college. I played actually three different associations. I played in the NCAA Division Three,
Okay.
NJCAA Division One, and then in the NAIA. After I got done playing college soccer, I went right into coaching. So I was the assistant coach at Iowa Western Community College for the men's and women's soccer program from May of 2008 until December 2008. And then I became the head coach of the men's soccer program from 2009 until 2019.
Right.
Um, so during that time, we were lucky to have good funding and a really just good program at iOS, and we recruited well, and
Mm.
we had some success during my time, and so I really enjoyed that, and we were able to recruit kids from all over the world, and also we drew a lot of traction because we were a junior college, so we got a lot of attention from
Right.
NCAA Division One schools, Division Two, Division Three, and
Right.
NAIA. So yeah, so after 2019, and then I pivoted from full-time coaching in college, and then got into the college placement recruitment
Mm.
industry.
Great. I do have a follow-up question, but I think that that'll come at the later part of the podcast. But let's go into GESP. So for someone who's very new, maybe who's watching this for the first time, what exactly is GESP? Can you just give a brief and how it helps Indian football players or parents to, make a career in football, professional football, or otherwise?
Yeah, so Global Education and Sports Partners, we focus on boarding schools. And so in the United States, there's a long-standing tradition of boarding schools, especially in the East Coast. And we sort of found a niche where a lot of the families that are looking at boarding school options needed help, understanding which ones are the best, which
Right.
ones align with what they want. And so ultimately, uh, what we do at Global Education and Sports Partners, we assist student athletes, and it's not just in football either. We can help them with various different sports at these boarding schools. We help them get aligned with the right opportunity for them. And then we also, with football, soccer, that is, we also on the college side, we assist students who are interested in playing college soccer as well.
Right. So a lot of Indian families, which comes from different, I mean, different tier two, tier three cities, or maybe top tier cities like Delhi, Mumbai, uh, they think that studying abroad is for just for the super rich. How does the financial system in the US boarding school actually work? And is it really more accessible to the parents, or is it like too big of a dream for Indian parents?
Yeah, very good question. Especially when you think about the total cost of a large majority of the boarding schools, it's anywhere between 75,000 to 80,000, 90,000 even US dollars per year.
Right.
So I can understand why, that could be a valid question. But these schools, they work not on a merit base like a scholarship situation, but they work more on a financial need situation. So uh, every applicant who's going to be looking at boarding schools, they're going to be assessed on essentially four categories. Number one category, academics. Number two, their athletics. Uh, Also their English level. So how well they speak English, and then lastly, their financial, I guess, profile is the
Right.
best way to describe it. So depending on how their parents, are able to afford an opportunity like this, these schools work on that model. So, for example, if you're, a really high level academic
Mm,
student, high
mm,
level soccer player,
mm,
but your family doesn't have a lot of money,
mm,
um, there could be an opportunity where the school will give you, close to
100%.
full, yeah, 100% financial aid.
Right.
So, which is pretty impressive and incredible. So there's definitely it's not every kid gets this opportunity, but you go through the application process, then it's a reality.
Right. I think that's really wonderful. Getting 100% scholarship is amazing for a lot of kids. But what does a typical young Indian footballer need, on and off the pitch to have a realistic shot? I'm not talking about those who are really good in academics and football or athletics, but the average kid. And for someone who is who is a parent who wants to send his kid to the US through GESP, how should they plan, and what are the things, criterias that you are looking into in a kid specifically?
Yeah, so we're got the range, right? We got the kid who's
Yeah,
super talented in football. We got the kid who's super talented in academics,
right.
and then you have the one that's both on each spectrum,
Yeah,
where they're talented, super talented academically and athletically. Now, if you're just right in the middle, you're just sort of an average player. You just want to continue your passion of playing football in a different country. We support every single student in this process. So, but there are some requirements that we need. First and foremost, we need to know their academic level. Secondly, we need to know their athletic level so we can understand where we would find an opportunity. Because we have boarding schools that are partners of ours that can take on a wide, a
yeah,
range of student athlete. So
right.
there's definitely an opportunity for everybody. Where it becomes a challenge, though, is if finances aren't something that you are, you know, capable of bringing to the table, then it does limit your options and sometimes it eliminates it completely. But if you're, average finances and you're able to, bring that to the table. Then
Hmm.
there's the way the boarding schools work is some of them work on a more of an average cost.
Yeah.
So then it becomes more realistic for an
Yeah.
average player to go.
Right.
Every school is going to operate differently, just so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
very clearly. So every school is going to have different needs,
Yeah.
and different ways of making sure that they get the right profile for them.
Right.
But the Indian market is something that I know for a fact that all these boarding schools are very interested in. They really want more Indian students coming into their programs because they know the level of uh, student they're going to
Yeah.
get, also the cultural understandings, that the Indians will bring will definitely, make a big difference in the
Absolutely.
classroom,
Yeah.
in the dorms, and across the board.
Right. And maybe this is a separate question I'm asking. A lot of kids or the parents get scared, sending their kids to the US because it's a different culture altogether. Not everyone is going to adjust. So, how do you or the boarding schools in the US take care of that problem or objection for the kids or their parents?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, the individuals who are very interested in this, they already have, attacked this conversation, right, as a
Mm.
family.
Yeah.
If you're brand new, you're hearing this for the first time, then it's going to be a conversation that you're going to have to explore, right?
Right.
Is this really an opportunity that you really want to explore, being in a different country?
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, that's sort of the beauty of the boarding schools because there's options to go to the United States to be, with a host family somewhere else, but that's
Yeah.
not our business. Our business is boarding schools. We believe in boarding schools because of the environment they create. You're going to have individuals from Spain, from
Hmm.
Tanzania, from
Multicultural,
China,
basically. Yeah.
multicultural.
Yeah.
Almost every single boarding school that they're going to experience is going to have an element of, other countries and also, a base of U.S. citizens,
Yeah.
there. So ultimately, the experience that they're going to get is just it's a very safe environment.
Yeah.
They're going to be living in the dorms. They're going to be within the campus of the school. And there's going to be support across the board. So in the dorms, they're going to have, 24/7 assistance.
Yeah.
Uh, and then in academics, you don't have to travel anywhere. You're just going to walk to the classroom
Right.
and you get those supports. And sometimes the people that are living in the dormitory are going to be your teacher. So, when you're doing study at night, you're going to have access to potentially your teacher at nights too. So,
Great.
the level of academic attention and detail is just going to be one step higher than most public and private schools,
Right.
across the.
Quite integrated, everything is there. So there is a holistic development of a child, I think.
Yep,
So yeah,
exactly.
great. So now coming to the US soccer system, because we still fancy European football culture. If you see a lot of Indian football fans or those who are in football follow Premier League, Champions League, Bundesliga, Serie A. So there's a question that why should we send our kids to US or MLS, which is just becoming the hub for soccer rather than sending their kids to Europe. So, which is a very common question that I think you might have come across, or it is a common question among the Indians as well. Since you also talked about your experience at NCAA different divisions, can you just uh, give a bigger perspective of how a kid can actually, grow within the soccer or, within the MLS, or what are the different opportunity that a young Indian kid will get in playing different divisions, and maybe if not just the football or soccer, maybe different career pathways as well.
Yeah, so the soccer pathways in the United States are getting way more robust. Boarding schools that we used to work with, or traditionally, were just more of like the traditional USA
Yeah,
seasonal experiences. So you'd play in the fall and you'd play your other sports that you want to participate in throughout the year to represent your school. More and more, I mean, that philosophy still exists, don't get me wrong. but there's more and more boarding schools which are becoming more soccer residential academies. So they do have a season in the fall, and then in the spring, they're programming a pretty intense schedule where they're going to go to college showcase events to be scouted by college coaches, but also to, the periodization is going to be set up to ensure that they're getting trained and developed, very
Hmm.
well.
Right.
So that's the boarding school route. But if, we're just talking general perspective of soccer in the United States, it's the levels of soccer are getting so robust, and you're seeing it more and more where these young men are getting,
Yeah.
scouted early to go
Yeah.
to Europe, to the bigger market. But I think so. If an Indian, young footballers wanting to come to the United States, there's no better place in the world to be a student athlete, right?
Yeah.
So the
Absolutely.
United States has built a reputation, across the globe that it's the best place to be a student athlete. The culture just buys into this idea that it's okay to be an athlete and a student.
Correct.
And we always put it as a student athlete in that emphasis of being a student first. So we're always drawing some of the best and brightest to come to the United States, and and the resources are there to in terms of staff, in terms of facilities, in terms of providing the education for these individuals to become fantastic student athletes and potentially pros.
Absolutely.
Going the NCAA Division One route is still, a valid, route to the MLS. And then let's just talk about the MLS. I mean, when Messi went to India, he got to just go on his little tour, right? We have Messi playing in the United States. Why did he choose the USA? Obviously,
Yeah.
there's money to be made, right? But
Yeah.
the truth is, the league's good, and
Yeah.
it took him a bit to be the champion of the league, and but ultimately, the level of football is just getting better every year, and so it's just really exciting to see, the
Yeah.
USA also having the World Cup, this year too. So
Yeah.
I think Indians will be more motivated to come to the United States because they'll see, what it's like in the USA and from watching the World Cup, and I think there'll be a lot more interest for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, even I have also witnessed the universities in the US and the way they promote student athlete is great. Unlike India, India is still promoting it. It's not that's not the focus, but it's
Mhm.
in US. I think there is already a legacy for 100 years. It's been running, and I think for last 20, 30 years, the student athlete programs in universities have got much appreciation and recognition. So I think that's a great takeaway for Indian kids or parents that definitely they can have a better career in either ways, right?
Mhm.
So now let's come to this critical question. Like, you have worked with different kids from different countries, right? So what do you think Indian footballers specifically, because you have been here in India for almost a week or 2 week, right? And you have observed them, you have talked to them. What do you think they should work on the most, or a character that they should build which makes them stand out, player, athlete, or candidate for the US? And what do you think they need to work on the most? Is it the communication, for example, the communication, or maybe nervousness, or whatever it is, if you have whatever you observed during this period?
Yeah, so I think for me, what I saw from Indian footballers was like a general level of football that was good. Also, a very much so a large appreciation for the sport. When I'm comparing the different cultures that I've worked with that have come to USA to play, and just every different country that I've gone to watch,
Mm-hmm.
the areas that I think the Indians would need to adjust the most, probably this is probably the best way I would answer it, is like after watching and then knowing what it is like in the United States, if they came to the USA and were to get involved in soccer right away, the biggest thing is going to be the physicality.
Mm.
In the US, there's a lot of conflict in the game.
Yeah,
It's a lot of aggressive
yeah,
play.
Yeah.
And I've just watched a lot of film. I watched a lot of live, soccer in India, and also just since I've been back, I've been watching reviewing film of a lot of individuals. What I've noticed is just that physicality, and then also some areas of football, it's the tactical side too. So
Right.
I think in the USA, what people might not understand is that like it's not far from Europe in the level of their youth,
Right.
sports and the level of youth soccer. So the truth is like the game is pretty tactical now,
Yeah.
and I think when you look at the very tip top of Indian football, I think they have it. There's definitely some good representation there. But as I looked and saw the spread across India, I think that's where, they weren't as advanced in the
Yeah.
tactical understanding of the game. And then technically they were good, but not quite the level that they would need to be in order to really advance themselves. So yeah, I like always the general stereotype of the United States is that it's an aggressive, very direct
Hmm.
style of soccer, but I don't think that's a fair assessment. Some in the college sports, sometimes that can be true, but I think the game's becoming more and more studied and
Yeah.
learned, and like, you're seeing definitely different styles of soccer being played in
Yeah.
USA.
Getting more advanced, in after the integration of AI, clubs like Bodo Klimt are going, crazy.
Yeah,
So yeah, I understand. I mean, that's for sure that tech and tactics and has uh, advanced in this game, and it has changed the entire perspective. So it's not just the physicality, but that's right. I have also observed that we as in footballers are less aggressive, less physical as compared to other. However, tactical is something which we can, I think, work on. At the grassroots, we are still working on it. So I think that's a great feedback, and it is for everyone to listen and understand, like, where do we lack and how do we improve. Now, since we're talking about the grassroots, your association with IKF, you see how IKF has been working for the last 6 years on the grassroots, creating a scouting structure which was not available earlier. So, how has been the collaboration of with IKF, and what do you think how they are adding value to the Indian football ecosystem, and
yeah.
maybe how it helps GSP as well?
Yeah, so first of all, IKF has done such an amazing job of just really building a structure that allows individuals, to be seen that wouldn't, otherwise never been seen,
Yeah,
right? Like who's
yeah,
going to invest the time and effort to put all this together? The organization, just the holistic perspective that IKF has is so tremendous, and I'm just so happy that there is a nation that is doing this. Not every country is doing this,
yeah,
by the way, and so it's pretty remarkable what this organization has done so far. From a perspective of GSP, to be able to see, assess, and observe, these individuals is quite amazing, and it helps us to understand, okay, who truly could be a good candidate for this opportunity to come to the United States to study and play football. So, I think the biggest thing for us with IKF is just understanding that we are one more path or one more pathway within their, variety of
yeah,
opportunities and options that they've created for Indian footballers to, continue to
yeah,
explore.
right.
So yeah, so our collaboration has been awesome. My experience going to the final this what was it, season five finale. That was pretty tremendous in Mumbai, and just being able to see the quality of the players and just the overall excitement to be a part of an event like this. And what I really liked was really noticing how many professional clubs that were there,
Yeah.
and just the different clubs within India that are, truly scouting. I mean, like they were so laser focused on identifying some of these players, and so. Yeah, it's great. And from GSP perspective, having a partner like IKF where they have a broad reach,
Right.
that's massive for us, and hopefully, we'll be able
Yeah.
to work with some of these families, here soon.
Yeah. I mean, the way they have penetrated to the Indian cities and villages is amazing. So maybe you can find someone who is really great and talented, and maybe you can give them, 100% scholarship. So that is something which you can obviously build with IKF. So I really look forward to that. I really look forward to see that story where one kid from maybe Jharkhand or Chhattisgarh from very rural area went to US, made his name in the soccer, and become very famous. So looking forward to some of those stories with you and IKF. And now coming to the last question. If there is a 13-year-old or 14-year-old kid or their parent watching this uh, podcast and dreaming that he or she should be going to the US studying and playing, what's the one thing that you want them to take away from this particular podcast?
Yeah, I think the opportunity to come to the United States to study and play soccer is going to be, potentially a once in a lifetime opportunity. The ability to understand the United States from the perspective of being in the USA
Yeah,
is tremendous. I think right now at this time, obviously it can be politically dicey at times, right? But the truth is there's so many amazing people in the USA who
absolutely.
I think will very much so shape this young individual in a way that will allow them to see the world in such a different, view. Like I said, these kids that come into this boarding school world are going to get treated so well, and they're going to have such a holistic,
Yeah,
uh, like you said, integrated experience with
yeah,
sport and academics and social development.
yeah,
And so, if any family is worried about losing their identity, to be fair, I think their identity will just get even stronger. And these boarding schools, they want what is best for each individual. So what I would say is that this opportunity it should be explored. If a
absolutely.
a family is interested, if a young man or woman is interested in this opportunity, then they should really look at it and take it seriously. And for us, it's always just nice to be able to speak with those who might find this interesting, and then we can see, through the application process if this is the right fit or not. But ultimately our business is relationships
Yeah,
and ensuring that our relationships are strong and that we're, working with these families from the moment we start talking until they arrive to USA. I think that's something important that global education and sports partners, we're going to stay with these young men and women throughout their process. And we'll always be there to help guide them and be a good liaison and
yeah.
mentor and support system in this journey. So I do think we give a lot of families peace of mind and comfort that we are going to be there supporting them along the way.
Absolutely. I mean, whatever the situation, geopolitical situation right now is, irrespective of that, I think US is still the best place for an athlete, for a professional to grow. There is a lot of learnings. I have been there and I have seen it. So definitely it does make more sense. And I wish you the best. And we look out for more such programs, maybe some short-term programs as well, which can also help Indian parents and kids give a better perspective and see how they can, they can be part of that system and grow and become a better professional or a better person in life in general. So thank you very much, Jordan, for your time. We look forward to have a great association with you. Any final maybe call to action, let's say, like how can the kids and the parents reach out to you?
Yeah, the best way is to visit our website,
Yeah.
gespeducation.com. So going there, then you can just submit an inquiry.
Okay.
That's always the easiest. But you can also find us on social media as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's, a great way. And then also IKF,
Yeah.
if you see this, podcast and you're interested, just, mention that to IKF that you're interested in speaking with GSP, and that's also a very good way to go about it. But Definitely have really enjoyed getting to know the Indian culture. I do believe strongly that the Indians will be the perfect match for the
Yeah.
boarding school and also for college soccer opportunities. But I think the last thing I'd like to clarify is that we do work with sports other than just football as well for
Yeah.
boarding schools. So I think it's just important, if there are individuals who, play other sports or are interested in playing other sports too, that we do also offer
Right.
services for those. So
For example, track and field, athletics, all that stuff, right?
exactly. Unfortunately, cricket. So
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jordan, for your time. I hope if people have any questions, they will reach out to you and wish you the best. Thank you very much.
thank you so much. Really appreciate it too.
Thank you.